Hey guys, Tyler Vaughn with Pathology Performance. Another thing I wanted to address today is understanding how to get into an attack position. All right, I hear so many coaches talk about don't lunge, don't lunge, don't lunge, and what you end up with is kids that are terrified to gain ground towards the pitcher. All right, and that's the last thing you want. Go watch a Major League Baseball game. Guys that are facing 98 to 100 miles an hour velocity, they're still gaining ground towards the pitcher. All right, whether that's a start wide, load back, and get back to where you were, or whether that's a Pedroia-like move where you start close together and you really gain ground towards the front of the batter's box, they're gaining ground towards the pitcher. And if those guys can do it seeing 98 to 100 miles an hour, then they can definitely do it in high school seeing 65. All right, and I exaggerate. It's probably not 65. Some places maybe. All right, but probably seeing anywhere from 80 to 92, 93 miles an hour in high school. So, all right, one thing that I like to talk about is attack position. So, in order to understand attack position, we have to understand what a lunge looks like. Okay, so I'm going to show you what a lunge looks like with a stride and without a stride. It can happen either way. All right, so here's my lunge position. All right, I'm in my good start, whatever that may be. I don't really care. I don't really deal with that. That's a whole different story. We'll talk about that stuff individually. But get comfortable, get in a stance you like. Now I'm going to gain my ground. All right, here's my lunge. All right, I'm over-exaggerating, but that weight is distributed on that front leg. All right, as soon as that happens, my hands get stuck behind me. I usually see that tied in with a nice little arm bar in the front. Barrel's dragging low and slow, and we're getting beat. We're getting blown up. If we have a wood bat, we're breaking it. If we're hitting with metal, BB core, we're just hitting a nice solid chopper with topspin. All right, not going to get you where you want to go. So now we're going to look at the lunge without a stride. All right, which a lot of people don't think this is possible. All right, but a lot of coaches I talk to spread their kids out, and they don't want them to step forward because they don't want them to lunge. All right, so here's my nice wide stance, and here's my lunge with my wide stance. All right, didn't even move my foot, but now I'm in that same lunge position, which means that I'm on my front leg. All right, the weight should be distributed 50-50 when you land, if not 60-40 on the backside. All right, you see a lot of pro hitters that have their head over their back hip when their front foot lands. All right, that's a way that they can maintain their weight on that backside to deliver it through their swing rather than jumping off of it and trying to dive out towards the pitcher and get trapped up. All right, so first and foremost, lunges can happen without taking a step. Let's get that part right. Let's break that misconception. All right. So the next thing about a nice attack position is keeping your hands back in the position that they're in when you land. All right. This is more of a baseball thing, softball even. We're going to keep the hands back. The only difference is going to be the amount of separation we get in most cases, from what I've seen. Okay. So to get into a solid attack position, I've got to load my weight back. All right. Whether I'm a wide guy or whether I'm a close guy, it's going to be a little bit harder to load my weight back as a wide guy. All right. But I'm in my position, I load my weight back. You see this nice load with the hands get underneath the back elbow. We'll talk about all that separately. All right, but now as I stride, all right, I'm going to stay on this back leg. All right, 60% of my weight is on this back leg. And you can see that my head, if I turn to this side, you can see that my head is middle of the line to back hip. That's the position that we're looking for, all right? So what I like to tell kids is push the ground down with your back foot. You're not pushing off the ground, because then you're going to end up in this kind of dive out position, and that's really going to reinforce the lunge, all right? So think about pushing the ground down. It's not about squashing the bug. We're not doing this, all right? That's our turn and burn swing. We'll get to that too, another side story, all right? But it's pushing the ground down with the back leg. So to get to my good attack position, shift the weight back, move in a negative direction away from the pitcher, whether it's a big stride to get forward, whether it's a leg kick. All those are different stories, all right? But as I gain my ground, my weight is going to stay on this back hip, all right? My hands are going to be back where they were, so I've loaded them back. Whether I started here or wherever I started, I'm going to load them back into my punch position. And when I land, good attack position says head over the middle of the zipper to the back hip. Hands are at or underneath my back elbow. Nice good bat tilt, good bat plane here, all right? And now I'm in a position where I can distribute and fire with my backside to deliver my bat barrel forward, all right? Another thing I wanted to mention is when I land, it should almost feel like I'm hitting downhill with my shoulders, all right? You see a lot of guys that kind of come down like this, and this is what I call defensive hitting, all right? You're hitting with your hands back, sure, but now we're hanging back on this backside with our front shoulder up, and we're just setting ourselves up for failure, all right? You see a lot of guys that do that, pop the ball up, chop anything to the left side of the field, hit the little duck snorters to the right side where you get that nice little flare. We want to stay in an attack position, all right? And just getting into this position, the attack position, does a lot for your mentality as a hitter. I know that when I turned the corner within college, that was part of it, is understanding, hey, I'm going to get into attack position so I can get my work done against whoever's throwing the ball. It doesn't matter how hard they're throwing. The only thing that changes is how early I start my load, okay? So my rhythm would stay the same. I'll get into the same attack position, and that's really how you turn around velocity, okay? So negative move, attack position, all right, which means 60% of the weight, if not, so 50 to 60% of the weight on the back leg. All right, I'm kind of right over that position with my head, and now as I deliver, I can transfer that weight forward, and that's how you see these guys generate this nice little toe drag. It's not because they push off, it's because they push the ground down and fire that back hip, and it provides this little bit of toe drag as they transfer force. Go look at Andrew McCutcheon. He does a great job doing that. So, guys, that's one of the things I want to talk about. Lunging is not about taking a step. Don't be afraid to gain ground towards the pitcher. Just understand how you have to do it. Donaldson talks about loading the weight into that right back hip. That's one of the things that I like to focus on too, is pulling the scat back, loading into the right hip, gaining your ground, staying in your legs. Go take a look at a few of the film reviews that we've done on some of the pro hitters. It'll clean up some of these ideas for you, but that's what I wanted to address today, guys. So Tyler Vaughn with Pathology Performance. Go try it out, see how it feels, and give us some feedback. All right, thanks.